Coming up on Mountain News this morning, summer is beginning, but one staple at the Perry County Park will not be a part of it. And we take you to Clay County, where one group is working on the latest of many projects to help restore pride in the community. Plus, one fire department in Pike County is taking its training abilities to the next level with the help of a new unit.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts, and thank you for joining me on Mountain News This Morning. Today is a Friday, June 12th. You've made it to the end of the week, and we're looking forward to that weekend. Let's bring in Brandon Robinson to see what that weekend's going to look like, and it's looking to be a nice one out there. Right, Brandon?
Listen, I could stand here and use all the adjectives that I know, but in a word, it's going to be fantastic. So we take a look at our cameras this morning, and some folks seeing some patchy dense fog. Not over at Jenkins, though, this morning. Things pretty quiet there on US 119, US 23. We take a look, though, at our temperatures. We are in the 50s this morning. 160-degree reading up on the ridge top at Jackson. If you don't count Louisville there at 66, all that pavement still holding in some residual heat from yesterday. But even yesterday wasn't really that hot. It was a very mild, nice day. Sunshine took a little while to get out, but today, after that fog goes away, it's going to be a fantastic day. Temperatures top out in the low 80s with less humidity. You can't beat that for this time of the year. And I know you're going to hear me say that a lot today, but you really can't beat that for this time of year. Sunrise happens this morning at 6:11, so just about 45 minutes away or so. All right, we'll talk about the full forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. Governor Beshear announced 69 new coronavirus cases last night in Kentucky, but the governor says a backlog in reporting to a federal system is likely why there is a number lower. He says it is likely we'll see more cases today that should have been reported yesterday. Right now, Kentucky is nearing 12,000 cases, and we've nearly lost 500 people, with 9 more deaths since Wednesday. Several new cases were reported by health departments across eastern Kentucky yesterday, including a 6-year-old in Johnson County that is asymptomatic. And a vote later today could decide if the Statue of Confederacy President Jefferson Davis will be removed from the Capitol Rotunda. Governor Beshear expects the Historic Properties Advisory Commission to approve its removal. During his afternoon update on Thursday, the governor said if it's approved, his staff will work quickly to take the statue out of the rotunda. Republican Senator Chris McDaniel pre-filed a bill that would move the statue to the History Center of Jefferson Davis State Park. The bill also calls for a new monument to be put in its place. And as the June 23rd primary election nears, the deadline to request an absentee ballot is Monday, June 15th. Nearly 2,700 people in Perry County have requested an absentee ballot, and that ballot has to be postmarked or delivered to the clerk's office by Election Day. If you requested a ballot but have not seen it yet, officials say they are working to fix the issue of paperwork getting mixed up among different counties.
One reason they haven't received them, some of our materials have been going to other counties, so we have to wait for it to get sent back to us, and a lot of other clerks have been having the same problems.
Secretary of State Michael Adams says county clerks have 1 week after the election to report their vote totals, but that the sooner people mail back their ballots, the sooner they will get counted and have final results for races. And summer is beginning, but this year Perry County Park will look a little bit different. For many in the past 40 years, the pool in the park has been a main attraction, but this year the pool will not be opening. Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander said a lot of grandparents bring kids to the pool, and there's always a large crowd. He thinks it's too big of a risk this year to open and does not think they could safely follow the guidelines from the governor.
When you're running a public facility such as that pool, you know, if I choose to go to the grocery, that's choices on me. But if I open the pool, then it's my responsibility, and those parents and that's bringing their families are assume that it's safe. He says the pool will reopen when no one will be put in harm's way.
And just in time for summer, this summer months, campgrounds could reopen yesterday after being closed due to COVID-19. However, Eagles Landing Campground in Perry County did not make the list of campgrounds that reopened. County officials said the county experienced layoffs and has a limited budget this year, so they had to make cuts, leaving Eagles Landing empty this season. The county also depends on the inmate program, where inmates spend time cleaning and managing the grounds, but also due to COVID-19, the inmates are not allowed. Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander says this was a difficult decision.
It's really sad. We've took great pride in Eagles Landing since we've been here. And we've never faced a situation such as this pandemic, COVID-19. And it's one of the hard decisions that we had to make, but we do have to give up doing some things at this current time until employment comes back to where it was.
The judge executive says the campgrounds will reopen next year, but he is closely watching to see what happens during the next few weeks with the pandemic and may try to open the campgrounds later this year. The nearby Buckhorn Tailwater Campground below the dam did open for the season yesterday. And daycares are beginning to reopen across Kentucky, and in-home centers with 12 or fewer students were allowed to open on Monday. And starting next week, bigger facilities will also be opening their doors. But as Kristen Kennedy found out, some are having a hard time getting ready. She explains what's next in the scramble to keep your child safe.
We will remove all soft toys, play foods, pillows, dress-up clothing.
Childcare centers across Kentucky are going to look a little different next week.
Our older classrooms, we will be dividing and changing the space.
Mindy Tolles is the executive director of the Child Development Center of the Bluegrass.
Here is an example of one of the masks our teachers will be wearing. They're clear views so that the children can see not only expressions, but speech and language development, which is really important at the infant, toddler, and preschool age.
We're pretty sure that children are used to the mask by now.
Charlene Markham runs the Gingerbread Academy.
It may take us a couple of weeks to get on our feet to get that cycle going where children are learning, but it can be done. We just have to really work at it.
That work wasn't possible earlier this year. In mid-March, coronavirus shut down the state. Non-essential businesses closed, and with them, most every childcare provider. Then in late May, we started seeing businesses open back up. Childcare centers, they stayed shut. The governor waited, then released new guidelines, including a cap on classroom sizes.
We're getting lots of questions about large classrooms broken up into groups of 10 and what that looks like, what do walls look like, what's traffic flow look like to bathrooms. So there's not one answer across the board for every facility. They're all trying to figure this out.
Bradley Stevenson works for the Child Care Council of Kentucky, and he says next week, when centers finally do reopen, they're going to be different.
You're saying this will be different. Will it be detrimental?
It could be. I mean, there will be some child care facilities. We know that some child care facilities are not going to reopen, at least on June the 15th.
We've had to change our staffing where some staff are not working full-time. They're working part-time. Some are working split weeks, 2 days 1 week, 3 days the next.
While most providers, Markham included, closed up an office.
This is the state that my playroom has been in since
Marie Phillips,
we closed,
sealed up a living room. She runs Elna's Angels out of her North Lexington home.
And that's been so devastating for me. I walk in here every day and it's like, it's so sad. I want to hear them laugh and I want to hear them play. We haven't been able to do that.
The biggest challenge for an in-home provider, Phillips says, is finding supplies.
Paper towels. I mean, toilet paper. For the love of Jesus, we still can't find toilet paper very much. We're always really good about health, safety, and sanitation in our program. That's probably one of my top things for our program, but this has been catastrophic.
Phillips isn't even opening her in-home daycare this week. She's waiting until June 22nd.
I'm not ready. We're not ready. The whole house has to be cleaned. I mean, we're talking top to bottom spring cleaning like you've never seen it before. I think we're gonna end up hiring a cleaning crew to come in and help us because it's just too much. I mean, we live here, you know? I have dogs, I have cats, I have kids, I have a husband.
Even daycares with a full faculty are spending a lot of their time right now sanitizing.
We are going through our attic and pulling out things that we've used, donating some things, but really creating new classroom and spaces within the building so children have safe places to spread out.
These women do worry about their finances, their health, and their students' health.
It's been hard, and it's not just me. It's all of us daycare providers. You know, this is our livelihood. We don't do this for money. We do this for these kids.
Right now, hope outweighs fear. They want to see their students swinging and sliding and smiling again soon.
Parents need childcare.
Kristen Kennedy.
Children need to be in a learning environment. They need structure, and they want to learn.
WKYT.
The current guidelines for child care centers are considered temporary, but it's not clear how long they could be in place. Mask wearing and limited classroom size are expected to remain throughout the pandemic. And in Clay County, Project Hope took the time to made by COVID-19 and remade the county basketball courts, an idea that came to co-founder Steve Collins last year. A generous donation from a local business, some volunteers, and $800 turned a once rundown ball court into a new hope for a place rich in basketball history.
They did look bad. I think 3 of the goals was even unusable. A lot of kids would hang out here at night with the headlights on. They'd be parked on the court with their headlights on, trying to see the goals to play. And so we thought we would just give them a really nice place to play.
The county school district is paying for 2 LED lights and the electric bill to keep them on. And Pikeville's fire department added a new training unit to its facility, giving it the capability to train in an active fire situation. The 3-unit structure will provide hands-on firefighting experience, which officials say will more adequately prepare the first responders for answering a call. But it is not only about training to put out the fire, it is about the situational advantages that come with the burn unit.
Our firefighters are going to be able to train on fire hose advancement, search and rescue techniques. Hopefully, we're going to apply later down the road for more props to be able to add it on to it.
Case says other departments in the county will also be training there. Well, coming up, as the relationship between many police departments and the communities they serve has reached a breaking point, deputies in West Virginia are working hard to change that.
Sunshine and the living is easy, and that's going to be the case all weekend long. I'll break down your full forecast details in about 3 minutes.